my job.
And I don't need to tell this audience that journalism and democracy go hand in hand. And I learned that actually at an early age. Growing up in Philadelphia, reading and learning about Ben Franklin. One of our founding fathers is often forgotten, but Philadelphia is not. But that core understanding that a democracy requires journalism. Absolutely requires doing the work that is representing this rainbow work that we saw, and from the finals, the work that Katie and your colleagues do is so vitally important today. And I am proud to be able to support the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at UW-Madison because that work is so incredibly valuable. But we also recognize the other aspect of that, which is highlighted in the video, and really what this award is about, that is integrity and ethics. And to be collaborative about doing the right thing. And I think we saw that in the video of finalists making those hard decisions, in hard moments, the difficult decisions, but grounding those decisions in a sense of value, in a sense of doing what is right, but in the pursuit, that sifting and winnowing the pursuit of the truth. And so I admire the work that has been represented here. We know UW-Madison changes lives. And it has done so for generations, 176 years worth of life-changing work at UW-Madison. Journalism also changes lives. And I think that's very important. And the best journalism really, really does that. And I see that reflected not in the video, but I also see that reflected in the work that Anthony did as a journalist. And so it's a real honor to meet the two of you this evening and share this moment with you. He brought integrity and honesty to bear really on some of the most difficult topics of our time. And that was work that should be remembered. And he illuminated all of those affected with a certain degree of humanity and grace that is sometimes in short supply as we look around the world today. And so it's my real profound pleasure, really is an honor, to pay tribute to the enduring power of journalism and to the vital role that it does play in our democracy. At the University of Wisconsin-Madison, we are honored to recognize outstanding ethical journalism and the integrity of these journalists have brought very, very difficult decisions. So I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. And so now, I'm proud first to be a part of that community that keeps care and ethics and integrity at the very heart of the practice of journalism. And it's really my deep honor to be privileged to honor the winners of the 2025 Anthony Shadid Award for Journalism Ethics. Hannah Furfaro, Lauren Frohne and Ivy Ceballo of the Seattle Times. Congratulations.
It's such an honor to help celebrate the legacy of Anthony Shadid, the work of my colleagues, Ivy and Lauren, and all the other incredible finalists this year. One of the first texts I received after we learned that we won this award was from a Seattle mom named Sabrina. I spent months getting to know Sabrina and your daughter, Maddie, a family featured in our reporting on teen fentanyl use in Washington State. Sabrina's text was bracketed by lots of exclamation points and read, "Just saw that your team was chosen as the winners. Holy smokes." It's like, just say we're thrilled. This meant the absolute world to me. When we embarked on this reporting, I felt deeply that I wanted to help change the way the public thinks about youth and drugs and the age of fentanyl. I had no clue how much these stories would end up changing me. Addiction reporting is broad no matter what, but centering young people addicted to a drug 50 times more powerful than heroin was an ethical minefield. Over the course of a year, 3 of our teen sources relapsed. Most had overdosed at some point and lost friends and family members to opioids. Many had been abused, a few were sex trafficked by dealers, and some had experienced homelessness. This was by far the most ethically and emotionally challenging reporting I've ever done. But these stories were also defined by hope, compassion, and love. Sabrina and Maddie's story, which in many ways was a love story about a mother and daughter, was especially hopeful. Before the ceremony, I reached out to Sabrina, who wanted me to share these words about her family's experience. Being candid and truthful about your loved one's substance use disorder to a reporter or major news publication is not an experience you easily lean into. Still, I responded with intense curiosity, hope, and a dash of foreboding. The team gave space when needed and respect where others had given disregard, harassment, and disrespect. The pivotal point in the interview process was during a conversation with Ivy and Hannah sitting in my dining room table. Maddie and I had never talked about our substance use or treatment with another person together before. They gave us a measurable gift just sitting there actively listening. Together, not only did they give Matt and I a voice in the story and photographs with a high standard of ethics and honesty, they also provided our community with undeniable truths and depth about teens with substance use disorders in Western Washington. I know many families were educated and made aware of resources because of it. Although Maddie and I are not there with all of you now as the team is receiving the prestigious Anthony Shadid Award, be sure we are still positively beaming with pride, holding hands, cheering too loudly, and knowing how well deserved it is. So I don't want to say, read on that stuff, bring our being tree. Beginning this by sharing thank you to my editor, Diana, and the executive editor of Seattle Times for giving us the time and space to tell these stories ethically and with empathy. My husband is my first reader and was a huge supporter in his work. I'm grateful to the judges, who I know dedicated a lot of time to this award. And finally, I am a proud Badger. I want to thank the dedicating Culver in your J202 class and the Daily Card and newspaper. Where I got my start as a journalist and where I first learned about the courageous and inspiring work of Anthony Shadid. He's a true North Star. Thank you.
I'm more comfortable. I can't bring it means a lot to be running against for our work today, especially at this time of uncertainty. Our country is facing challenges to drug stuff. Helping shed light on the truths experienced by vulnerable members of our community, like being part of this reporting and sharing their stories despite the ethical hurdles, seems more important now than ever. I'm grateful for the opportunity to work with Hannah and Lauren on this series, my first year with the Seattle Times. I want to thank them for their support and their examples. Hannah's transparency about the process of her work with her sources was significant in our ability to earn their trust. Lauren makes filmmaking look easy, and what it's really not. She brought Evelyn and Johnny to life for readers with the films in a powerful way. I'd like to thank my editor, Bettina Hansen, for her thoughtful visual direction, support, and newsroom colleagues, past and present, including finalists for this award, who inspired me through their efforts to craft meaningful journalism. Above all, thank you to Maddie, Sabrina, Adler, Johnny, and his team, and the youth they serve for being willing to collaborate with us.
There's not much more I can add that Hannah and I had already said, but I just wanted to say thank you to all the other people and parents and advocates who shared their stories with us. We do not take that for granted, that people open up and share some of the toughest moments of their lives with us. And thank you to Hannah and her editor, Diana Samuels, who are some of the best collaborators in our newsroom. With such sensitive reporting, especially involving teens and children, it can be easy for editors to decide that visuals will just not work or will be too difficult to navigate. And I appreciate the trust that Hannah and Diana put into Ivy and myself to not just illustrate the reporting, but to add to it and help build out a human connection through pictures and video. And I think this reporting shows that the patient's time and consideration it takes to do that well is worth it. Also, thank you to the judges for their time and consideration, and the other nominees. It's amazing to be among such amazing reporters. And and to the UW Madison School of Journalism for this honor. And also want to thank my editor, James Gregg, for being an advocate for video storytelling. My husband, who's my biggest supporter, and my 3-year-old daughter, Juniper, is here. I'm always working with her and to make her proud. And I also want to dedicate this to our niece, Skylar, who we have also lost to this crisis. So thanks, Gail.